Welcome in. We are live from beautiful downtown Bridge Street at none other than Maiden, Ohio. Exciting evening coming in here hot tonight. Been a long day, long fun day. I am Ryan Cole, the host of the show is what they say, with my partner, the voice of 440 own goal, Sam Torres. How you doing tonight, Sam?
Whew, I've been better. Listen, I know I'm going to get yelled at for this, but bring on the fall. I'm sick of the heat already. You can take these 90s and hit the road, Jack.
I don't mind the heat. I don't. I know you make fun of me in my bucket hat. I will maybe I'll put it on later in the show, but the bucket hat is nice. It does cool you. It's one of those ones, I can't remember the brand, but you get it wet and then it stays cool for 50% longer than your typical hat.
A little weatherproof action on it. I mean, yeah, that works. I just, like I said, man, I can't do the heat. You know, you give me, I'll take the 70s, I'll live with them, but I am a true blue fall guy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You give me the 60s and the low 70s, and I'm in good shape.
But all right, so yes, going into the show, just kind of a quick preview of what we're going to get into. Like Sammy probably put out there on Facebook. I haven't seen it. Been too busy to be able to look at anything. But we're going to get into talking about a few teams tonight. The 440 to watch, some players from each of those teams, their key games, and then some weekend events. And then, as always, the Maiden Ohio Minute will be coming up here shortly. So, but before we go into that, we always have a little banter back and forth. So how was what is today, Wednesday? How was your weekend?
That'd be the weekend. So, right. You know what? It was a pretty good weekend. Spent it right down here at on 21st Street at the Mount Carmel Bazaar. It's a great event. It's nice to see Ashtabula kind of getting back to these things. There's a pretty decent turnout this year. I know I ate more fried food than I definitely should have. You give me some of those fair fries and the best cavatelli and meatballs you can find around the way as well. And you know, much like my idol Chris Farley got me some sausage sandwiches over there too. But it was a pretty good weekend. And Sunday we didn't actually end up going down there, although from what I gather they actually did end up having the fireworks
in the rain. So kudos to them for getting that out.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, good for them.
Right. I will tell you, within about 8 minutes, I think $70 was dropped on those fair games.
Oh man, it's easy to do.
Yes, bing bang boom.
It's easy to do.
You know, 3-person family and at $5 a shot, it was rolling right through it. I told my son, time to get the wristband and go ride those rides for the next 3 hours. So that's what we did too. But it was a beautiful event down there. One thing, I know they tore the one building down.
Yeah.
But it was wonderful to be able to park down there. In years past, I just remember happening to park by the men's league softball field and walking a mile to come back, and it was really nice. Got down there, so kudos to them for getting that put together. It was just simple, easy, pull in, wasn't crowded, wasn't anything. Seemed like a good turnout. Had a lot of rides for the kids, a lot of things going on. The garden per se was over there too. But it was just a good time, good overall experience, just like the bazaar has been for the last, I don't know how many years. I can't even fathom.
I don't know. I know the church has been going for like 125 years, and it's really a great event, and more than that, it's great. Again, to see Ashtabula kind of getting back to these things,
right.
People going out and about and, safely being able to gather and have fun at these things. It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment down there. Live music, I think, all weekend. Probably not during the rain showers, though, on Sunday, but all weekend when I was there, it was live music. But great event.
Yeah, they had a great event. I'll tell you, my one issue, the only issue I had, man, for the live music, they did a great job. I didn't get to see my band. Good question. Yeah. Listen, I got to see me some Good Question if I'm going out.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. They do perform very well. But yeah, that, and then as soon as Monday hit, football season for my little dude kicked off, and we haven't stopped since. The Lakeside Youth Football, well, actually the Freeway League, I do believe, across the board, and it's Conneaut, Jefferson, Geneva, Edgewood. Wickliffe is in it as well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that, but Wickliffe is part of it. Pymatuming Valley, and I think that's it. I might be missing
Grand Valley.
I don't think Grand Valley. No, I don't believe so.
If they're not, we'll find out.
Yeah, someone's going to tell me anyways. But yeah, youth football kicked off this week. We're in the middle of conditioning, which is very fun not to have to run the way these kids do run. I enjoy blowing the whistle more than I do running the gassers, but it was been a fun week. I do have to, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of stats for any other schools, but I got to give a shout out to Kevin Crockett. He's been running this. I do believe this is his 9th year, so I might be wrong on that too, but we're getting close to a decade either way. This year, a record number of kids, another massive turnout.
Wow.
There's actually potential of some teams happening to split and having a different amount of kids or different 2 teams for the freshman division, possibly JV, and I think varsity is set. But lots of kids coming out the Lakeside, and Kevin Crockett's done a great job over the last almost decade.
I mean, that's a great measuring point for football, I guess, if you want to call it in that district, but really for football in the county. Not just with the LYFL. I know that the Buckeye Youth Football League has a whole bunch of kids that came out this year too.
Yeah.
Grand Valley, whether they're in the Freeway League or not, I know that they had a ton of kids out. And this is all based on just the leagues that follow our page. If you are a coach in a different league or part of another league, follow our page, because that's where we're getting a lot of our information from. But I do know that as I peruse through these pages and getting to see all these pictures and everything, it looks like football at the youth level is starting to pick up again. And this after what was kind of a downswing, with the numbers, but it's starting to pick up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact number. I do believe it's around like 96 kids for Lakeside Youth Football this year. Between K through 6th grade, so before they go to junior high, it's just a lot. I mean, it's craziness. I can tell you that down there.
Well,
especially
another thing
before practice starts, it's a. I don't want to say that word. I don't. Thank you, but it's there's kids running around everywhere, and thank you, Demetrius. Grand Valley isn't, and I appreciate that.
Big Meech.
Yeah, but it's just, it's fun to watch these kids participate, to grow. And, I'm excited because I get to kind of go with my kid as he goes. We did freshman last year, and that was herding cats with helmets on, basically. And, this year, all these kids have a little bit better of understanding. Most of these kids have a minimum of 1 year, couple new faces, which is exciting to see. That's why we do this. But, to see how they develop, how they grow within the system, and, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
The question is, are you guys going to run the annexation of Puerto Rico?
No. Well, I don't know. I'll have to get a hold of, head coach White on that one, see what he says. You never know. I'm sure there's going to be some loop-de-loops or something. But my goal is to be a step above the water boy, but we'll see how that one goes throughout the season. So, but, yeah, shout out to those guys. I had to get that out there. Kind of a little biased, obviously, not on purpose, but I am part of that league. So.
Yeah, hey, that's the way she goes, boys.
Right. So, but yeah, so going into it, the opening banner's done. That's part of that segment. I'll let you talk about the next one.
Yeah, so last week, if you guys didn't realize, some people did, some people did not. We obviously didn't do a live show. We actually did a 5-part live premiere series, and it was a in-depth look at Edgewood head coach Elijah Cooper and kind of his path to where to get where he's at today. This was, of course, shot by Scenes from Above, Larry Jennings, his production company. I really can't say enough about just the production value and how much they really did a great job of taking in his story. And his story is something that, I think is very, very interesting. To come where he came from, lower income, and if you watch it, you're going to get to see some of these things, relying heavily on a lot of community members, not only to help bring him up, but like to kind of form that parental figure for him. Right. It's a success story in every sense of the word. Elijah Cooper is one of the most respected and one of the most respectable human beings I've ever come into contact with. And yes, I guess I would be a little bit biased. I did grow up with him. Yeah. He's a friend of mine. I've known him as long as I can remember. But I think this is something that even if you don't know who he is, you can really go in and get to see a success story. It's nice to see, if you're working hard and you get through some of life's hurdles, this is where you can get. And now, he's a head coach of a high school football team right here in Ashtabula.
Yeah, head coach over there, second year going into it, but first year where he's installing his own system. Yeah, a lot of guys going over there too. It's going to be interesting. I'm very excited. It's fun to watch them grow too. Even one thing you realize is people, no matter how young you are, you never stop growing.
Absolutely,
you never stop growing. So But also, if you did not get to watch the preview of that, or I'm sorry, the 5-part series, you should be able to click right on our Facebook page and go to the video tab, and that should all be saved right underneath there. If not, you got to scroll through a little bit. Sam did a great job at putting part 1, part 2, 3.
Yeah,
everything's so it's right there on Facebook, easy access. You know, a lot of viewership on those too. I've been noticing too. So.
Yeah, I mean, people were really, they were really
intrigued.
Yeah, they were dialed in. They wanted to see, you know, what was going on. He talks, you know, from his time as obviously as a child in elementary school. There's talk of when we were in high school.
Yeah.
You know, the consolidation of Ashtabula and Harbor. He talks about that at depth. He talks about the first time Lakeside makes the playoffs. He talks about a Lakeside team that went 8-2 and didn't make the playoffs.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He talks. There's a lot of some great stuff in there. He's putting out big time nuggets of knowledge, and if you got some time, go out and check it out. I think it'll definitely be something that everybody's gonna be able to take something from.
Yeah, check it out again. It's over on Facebook. You can easily access it right in the video tab. So,
and thanks again to Scenes from Above, Larry Jennings, for doing really the grunt work on this and doing the production and putting in time. I know personally how much time that stuff takes, and to have that high quality of a product, really did spend some time and did a great job on it.
Yep. All right, we're going to move right on into the softball roundup. So most of you softball fans out there, if you guys are just hearing about this, because I know our viewership is actually going to start picking up because the football season's starting to rock.
Yes, sir.
But we do a softball roundup, and this week we don't have any score updates, but we do have the new top 10.
We got a new updated top 10 rankings, and you're going to want to pay attention to it because there's some cool video footage in there as well. Again, like he said, no scores this week because unfortunately only 10 of them got turned in. So we will be I was down there, got a chance to see some of these people playing softball. It's a great time, and let's see where the top 10 is going this week.
All right, here we go.
Chambers Landscaping at 6 and 10.
Coming in
at number 8 is going to be Physical Culture, coming up 6 and 10, fighting their way.
Number 7 is going to be High Tide, Mason, Ohio with an 8-8 record.
AP Billing 9 and 7. They're number 6 this week. Another
coming in at number Diamond Hustle, 9 and 10.
Main Street Mafia 9 and 7. Yeah, buddy. Check out number 2, 13 and 3 would be none other than Harbor Tattoo, who actually gave DJ Moonshot. That's Mr. Vance hitting that all the way. Free Smoke made in Ohio. That is your number 1 team with a record of 15 and 1. Finally, Vance is he's the one who breaks the curse for me.
Yeah, you went down there quite a few times just trying to capture one of them.
I could not. I mean, listen, they probably hit 15 or 20 home runs down there this year, and I have not been able to catch one of them. So Vance gets up to bat, hits a moonshot, and that's going to moonshot them into the number 1 spot this week at 15 and 1. It's not really much of an argument.
No, not at that point. But that is a tight race, though. I mean, what was that? 10 through 7. They're all 6 and 10.
Yeah, there's 6 and 10, and then there's a bunch of 9 and 7s
right,
too.
And a bunch of 8 and 8s. I mean, it's going to be a tight one all the way down.
It is. It's absolutely going to be a tight race down there, and we're going to be down there. We have the event that we are throwing, the All-Star event, is going to come at the end of the regular season. So the date is going to be announced at a later time, but that event is going to include fastest around the bases, what we're going to call a relay. So the relay is going to have 3 three teammates together. It's going to be 2 guys and 1 girl, and it's going to see who can get the ball from center field to home plate the fastest and most accurate. Something I don't think that's been done around here.
No.
And then
no,
obviously you got to do the dingers.
Right.
It's a home run derby.
You got to have a home run derby.
So that is going to be coming up for Softball City after the end of the regular season. We're going to throw an event down there. Stay tuned for details on that as they come out. We'll let you know. We want to make sure that we're not actually bumping heads with anything else that's going on, because one thing I've learned over the last couple weeks is, man, there's a softball tournament like every week.
Yes, it seems like it. It does seem like that. You are absolutely right. All right, so I'm going to roll right into the next topic, and that's really not a topic the way I said that, but it's going to be the Made in Ohio Minute. Tyler, you ready over there? Yeah, I bet you are. Let me turn your mic up here a little bit, so we're going to roll right into that.
Yeah, I don't want to, set it off. Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Tyler down here at Made in Ohio. Thanks again for tuning in to 440 and Goal. We appreciate the boys coming down and checking us out this week. I know we had a tough schedule and it was a tight squeeze getting in there, but thank you guys. Just want to let everybody know we are going to have the Wine and Walleye Festival down here on Bridge Street this weekend. It's running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They will be closing the roads off down here at 5 a.m. Friday morning until 8 p.m. Sunday night, so do be aware of that. But just pretty much wanted to show you folks just a small taste of a few of the designs that we're going to have ready.
That's a beaut, Ty.
To go for you folks down here to check us out.
Tie with the tie-dye.
The official garment provider of the Wine and Walleye Festival this year.
What's a garment?
A garment would be any sort of
Anything
clothing
you put on that
type
beautiful body
of
yours.
item that you can put all over that beautiful body of yours. That's right. Thank you guys. Hey, I appreciate it. Everybody stay safe. Come check us out down here this weekend. Lots of stuff going on. So we'll look forward to seeing all you guys.
And that is Tyler with Made in Ohio. Right. So we are going to take off here, and we're going to go into a quick commercial break. We're going to hit all our proud, wonderful sponsors. But stay tuned. Please like the stream, share the stream. We are going to go into some team previews, and coming up on deck here.
When we get back, it's time for those Jefferson Falcons, baby. Time to preview them, the schedule, and the team as a whole. Let's see what's going on.
We'll be right back.
For Owen Goal welcomes in-combine sponsor from Allstate Kristen Dobbins-Beck-Barger. Kristen and her team offer auto, home, renters, and various other insurance policies. Visit Kristen at 4605 Main Avenue in beautiful Ashtabula, Ohio, or contact Kristen at 440-993-0256.
Play All Awards and Engraving. Awards, they do them all at Play All. Play All offers a full line of acrylics, desk accessories, plaques, sports awards, and more. A staple of Ashtabula County, Play All has been in service since 1993, helping the likes of educators, coaches, and individuals just like you. You can visit Play All at 4542 Main Avenue in beautiful downtown Ashtabula, Ohio, or call them at 440-992-7529 with any questions. Made in Ohio. Made in Ohio specializes in screen printing, dye sublimation, embroidery, and vinyl graphics. Their prices are the lowest in the area, and they have no minimum order size, no setup charges, and no screen charges. Stop in and see for yourself. Made in Ohio is located in the beautiful, historic Ashtabula Harbor. Visit them at 1028 Bridge Street or call 440-992-9057. Are you a small business looking for a way to advertise locally? You have a problem? 440 and Goal has a solution. Advertise with us. 440 and Goal can create custom advertisements like you see here. What better platform than 440 and Goal to advertise with? 440 and Goal will be awarding a $500 football and $500 volleyball scholarship to a local senior this year. Getting in touch with 440 and Goal is easy. You can reach us on Facebook and Instagram by simply messaging us. Or you can also email us at 440goal@gmail.com. Don't wait, spots are filling. Again, message 440 Goal on Facebook or Instagram, or email us at 440goal@gmail.com for all the details.
That's what'll lead us into that.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I did unmute the mic, thought I didn't.
Yep,
so.
there we are.
All right, so we're going to hop right into it, have a little fun. Me and Sam have had a great conversation over the past few days of these two schools. I'm very excited for both of them for quite a few obvious reasons that we've already talked about. But these, I'm going to hit the 4 to watch.
Yeah, before he does that, let me explain that to you just real quick. So what we're going to be doing, each team we're going to be doing 2 teams each week. This week's teams are Jefferson and Edgewood. We're going to be talking schedule. We're going to be talking what they did last year, what they're doing this year. One of the things we're incorporating this year is what we're going to call the 440 4 to watch. And these are going to be 4 players that if you're looking at that team, you should really be keeping an eye on because these are going to be game changers for each of those teams. We've talked to coaches. We looked at stats to help us come with this. These are going to be the four players that we think are going to make a big difference for each team.
All right, so 440s, 4 to watch. I'm going to hit that thing, and then we're going to go right into Jefferson. All right. So let me bring this up here just a little bigger for both of us so we can see it. You see it over there?
Oh, I got. Yep.
Oh, you got it there.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to go into a little bit of schedule, have a little bit of fun with that first, and then we're going to talk in not grave detail, but a lot of detail about the players. Sam knows way more than I do, like always. That's pretty typical. So I'll start off at the top, and then I'll let you read down through the schedule, Sam. You got the whole thing there. Sorry.
Yeah, buddy.
So 2021. The Jefferson Falcons went 4-6. First-year head coach Brandon Hanna out there, and again, I've talked about it before. I've told Brandon Hanna this myself. I'm very excited to see what him and the Falcons do out there this year. So quite a few. The 4 wins, a lot of tough losses, but I think they're going to come back and have I really think it's going to be a spectacular season. But
yeah, so the Jefferson Falcons, they play and they play in the hardest conference in Northeast Ohio. I don't care what anybody has to say. That NE8 is stacked. It's ridiculous how much competition it goes on in that conference alone. So last year they have some close games. They have obviously some games that were not close. But one of the games that was really close last year was Girard. And if you look at key games that we have on there, we have Girard marked as a key game. There are 3 games that I think are going to make the difference for the Jefferson Falcons this year as to whether or not they're going to make the playoffs, as to whether or not they're going to have a winning record. And those 3 games are Harvey. They're going to play them August 26th. Yep. The Hoadley Cup for Edgewood right there on September 2nd. And then on September 9th, they're going to play Girard, which is a team they lost to by 1 point last year, 35-34. It was really, really close. Jefferson is coming this year with a much more veteran team. They're going to have some guys that are.
That's the biggest thing with them out there.
Yes.
You got guys that got their feet underneath them and are ready to run. And we've talked about it before. Those kids out there want to run through a wall for Brandon Hanna.
Absolutely. And so, I've got those 3. We've got those 3 games as key games right there. But one of the other games I want to bring up on this schedule game this year, I really believe that Hubbard, even though that it was a pretty big loss for them, 46-7 last year, I believe that Jefferson has every ounce of ability to compete with those guys down there. I really do. I believe if they can go ahead and beat Girard, I think that they are right on par and can and very much make it a game with Hubbard this year. Not taking anything away from them. Poland is very, very good. South Range is ridiculously good.
Yeah.
South Range is the Youngstown Kirtland. So you go out there, you do what you can. Anything can happen on any given day. But, if Jefferson comes out like they did last year with their hair absolutely on fire and they bang out 3 wins back-to-back and can turn that into 4 wins with a win over Girard, man, I don't know that you're going to be able to keep them out of the playoffs with a bat.
Yeah, no, it's going to be tough. I mean, we talked about it. We went through the scheduled game personally ourselves a little bit. They do have a tough road, and you said that already, one of the toughest conferences to play in. But you're right. If they can go through the season and go into Girard on the 9th there, and and get that and somehow be 4-0. I mean, they're gonna be ready to rock, and they're gonna be running through the brick walls, concrete walls, foundations, everything they can to continue to make that happen.
And don't forget, last year, so after Girard this year, they did not play Niles last year because of the Rona.
Right.
So that game gets switched out with Sharpsville, who ended up being a nasty opponent to add to their schedule because they were really, really good. But you know what I mean? So if you can do that, you beat Girard, who's to stop you?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, they go 4-6. They go 4-6 last year. I think it is very, very much in the wheelhouse of the Jefferson Falcons to go 6-4 this year. I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple tough games on deck there. Like you said, South Range has always been a powerhouse. Poland's a powerhouse, but I do believe there's going to be quite a few that are going to be keep it really close for them. But like you said, the key game, Harvey, Edgewood, and Girard. And for me, the number one key game with that one is going to be Girard getting overcoming that getting over the hump with them. And that, if I recall too, they were down at half like 27 to like 3 or something,
and had to fight themselves right back into that game
all the way back, and it was almost took it to overtime. If I recall, it was I can't remember the game we were at, but me and you couldn't believe we thought they were going to get blown out, and that was the end of it. And then we heard through I think a score stream.
We just kept. We're covering a game live,
right? While we're covering the game live, it was it was amazing to watch. But those guys got a lot of fight out there in Jefferson and the south part of the county. And I really believe, the game to watch is going to be Girard. They're all key games, obviously. If you ask any head coach, you're going to say they're all important,
every game matters. But these 3 games that we have outlined right here are games that are going to change the way the season is going to end.
Yep.
So, if they go out and they can beat both Edgewood and Harvey as well as Girard, I think you can – it's a downhill slide into the playoffs for the Jefferson Falcons.
The interesting one is Harvey, though, too, to be honest with you.
Absolutely, it is.
I mean, one, they're, close Lake County, relative, I guess, if you want to call it that. But you really never know what they're bringing. They're not very consistent. They're up and down. They're side to side. So that's another good question game. I think, were you telling me that they have one of the fastest cornerbacks, if not the fastest cornerback in?
Harvey had a kid last year, and I'm pretty sure he's coming back this year.
Yeah.
That was one of the best athletes I've ever seen in my life. He was playing corner. I think he was running some quarterback. The kid can absolutely fly, but he's a football player, and he made a difference for them. Yeah. So Harvey's going to have to get better. I'm not sure that they're going to be there yet this year, and the reason why I'll tell you right now, speaking where we are in this seat right now, I'm 100% picking Jefferson over Harvey already. Yeah. We haven't played a single down of football, but I'm picking Jefferson over Harvey. And these 4 players, this 4-4-0-4 to watch is one of the reasons why I'm so confident in that pick.
Yeah, and anyone out there that, if you got a different opinion, throw it right in the text chat there. We'll be more than happy to read it off. Maybe one day we'll get the phone line really rocking and rolling, but not tonight.
Not tonight.
Put it in the text chat, and we'll go from there. But, yeah, I mean – like I said, that Harvey team, that's going to be a good question mark, and it's a good game to kind of get into, beginning part of the season, week 2 there. They're going to line up against them on the 26th, and it's going to be interesting. I'll be excited to see the outcome of that game because that's really, in my opinion, will kind of determine where Jefferson goes at that point.
It really is going to. If they go out there and get that win, the Hoadley Cup becomes a lot more interesting, as if it needed to be.
Right. Yeah. How many years is that? Like 60 plus?
I don't know. It's a long. Listen, it's crazy to me how long it's been because I didn't even know it existed until we started doing this.
Right.
But we'll make sure we'll do our best to change that. But let's talk a little bit about these 4 players that we're here at 440 and Goal going to call 4 players to watch. We're going to start off with the big man, Mason Pulowski. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman. He's a senior. This is a guy that has been going around Northeast Ohio playing in a ton of camps. Coach Hanna doing his very best to get his players as ready as they possibly can be for the season.
Physical.
So this guy's doing lineman camps all over. He's got more hardware than Tom Brady right now when it comes to going out there and just grabbing trophies. Offensive line. This is a 4-year starter for the Jefferson Falcons. Yeah. So, this is a guy who's seen great seasons, lower seasons, rushing attack, passing attack, all the way back to the Bruckman days. You know what I mean? When all they did was rush the ball, going into Grant Hitchcock throwing out.
It's only 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, that you're talking 1 year where you're rushing a ton, and then you're talking another.
High school time, it is all back at that point.
Yeah, to have a 4-year starter, and we're going to be talking about a ton of them.
Right.
But Mason Pulowski's going to make a difference, and this is a kid, he's a brain. You know what I mean? He's a kid that people are looking up to at school as well. One of the top guys in the class out there. He's a kid who's going to move over to guard this year from tackle. So you know better than I do. The importance of that.
Yeah. I mean, he's gonna be the anchor. He's gonna be the leader on that offensive line, and I know everyone loves the running back and they love their quarterbacks, but I promise you, and all the offensive linemen out there watching, and you don't score many touchdowns without a productive offensive line and five guys going after it. But with him anchoring down in that spot, it's going to be depending on the side he's going to be, I'll bet they run to the side that he's going to be on.
Listen, it ain't going to be – if you're a defensive coordinator and you don't think that's what's going on, then maybe pick up rugby.
Right. Yeah, I mean – he was a force last year. He's going to be a force this year.
The kid's just absolutely strong. Yeah. Just there's no other way around it. Moving on, we're going to go over to my guy, Trent Hodge. Mm-hmm. Listen, there's a band out there. It's called 9 Inch Nails. They got a lead singer. His name is Trent Reznor. I'm going to start calling him Trent Razor because his routes are so sharp they will cut you. He might be – Trent Hodge might be the best route runner in Ashtabula. I'm not kidding you. His route running is untouchable, and that's where that kid makes a difference.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. It was fun to watch him last year, and growing into a senior year, obviously, only one thing you can do is get better.
Yes.
He's like you said, a great route runner. He's going to be fun to watch this year.
Yeah, this is a kid also that last year we got to see some spurts and some flashes of speed.
Yeah.
We talk about that punt return or that kickoff return. I believe it's against Edgewood last year, where he takes a kickoff return to the house.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he had any sort of speed like that. This is a guy that, going into last year, if you ask me, I mean, he's a phenomenal player, but this was the definition of a possession receiver. He's going to run a great route, and if you throw it to him 9 times out of 10, he's going to catch it. He shows big-time athleticism last year, and if you put all of that technique with all of that skill, Trent Razor, is a tough assignment for any of the defensive backs right here in Ashtabula County.
Yeah, nicknames coming out. We still got, about 28 days?
Listen, that's what I do. Yeah. I talk football and give nicknames, baby.
All right, moving into the next one. That's going to be Wade Woodworth, the senior running back linebacker for the Falcons. He's a threat.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to put it. It's kind of a 1-2 punch back there, though, with Woodworth and Hitchcock, which we'll get into him in a minute. But, he's another speedy guy that can get down the sidelines, cut it up, and do his thing. So,
yeah. So Wade Woodworth is a guy that actually gets converted from the line to the skill position. He was an above average lineman. Really gets super serious in the weight room. Cuts down his weight, thins out his body, elongates these muscles, and now has become a nasty, nasty man at linebacker. He is going to be the Mike. He is going to be the one who is going to be running the defense for the Jefferson Falcons this year, and it can't be in better hands than him. I mean, he knows football. He's another one. The kid's a brain, super high grade point average, doing the work in the offseason. He's going to be able to come in there as a hard-nosed type of running back, and I think he's another one that has a lot more speed than even I gave him credit for. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. He's going to be out there. He's going to be a hole buster. He's going to be a head buster.
Yeah.
He's going to be, making the way for some speedier guys that are behind him. But if you underestimate his speed, Wade Woodworth might just get out in front of you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch him. I am excited to see him at that linebacker position playing Mike. Just being able to get across the field the way he does. It's
Brian Bosworth, baby.
It's going to be,
it's Brian Bosworth. He's going to go out there. He's going to lay some hammers. He's going to lay some hammers out there.
All right, and the last but not least, there's no particular order, so everyone knows that. Just numbered the way it got numbered. But he's going to be the quarterback out there, Grant Hitchcock, and I am very, 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 very excited to see Hitchcock. I think, honestly, he might be the best quarterback in the county.
Listen,
I'm throwing that out
it's-
there.
You know what? It's
And I'm
you're gonna
ruffling
stir the
feathers
pot.
on
Yeah.
purpose.
You're
Trust
gonna-
me. I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
You're gonna stir the pot there a little bit, but you know what, Ryan? I can't disagree with you. If you're talking about, if I want a quarterback right now, if I can have any quarterback in the biggest county in Ashtabula County or in Ohio,
Right.
I'm taking I'm taking Grant Hitchcock.
Right.
Grant Hitchcock is 1,000 in the air, 1,000 on the ground. He's another one, smart as a whip in the classroom. This guy's a leader through and through. He has been through bad games, good games, middle games. The kid's doing the work in the offseason. Multi-sport athlete. He's a leader. He's somebody that kids are going to look up to. He knows he's going to be able to take the pressure. He's been dealing with Coach Hanna for a long time.
Yeah, you
so
were
he's
talking
gonna be
about the pot cooking.
Listen, he's going to be able to get that coaching and take it and make it worth it. Grant,
He's a Swiss Army knife for
He
that
really
team.
is.
I mean, they do a lot of RPO in my opinion. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sure Hannah will correct me if I'm not. But but he lines up at D-back as well. So he's a two-way player. Most
Yes.
quarterbacks in anywhere really aren't two-way players, but he's a two-way player. He knows how to get great in coverage. I mean, what else would you want from a D-back other than knowing routes? What better person to know routes other than a quarterback for the other team?
I mean that's what that kid
You
does.
know.
He jumps routes. Grant Hitchcock, when he runs that run pass option, makes defensive ends look like they're trying to guard hot sauce on a basketball court.
Right.
I have never seen anybody just make
Hot
people
sauce.
look silly out there. Absolutely silly. And then the one thing he improves last year, as a sophomore, throwing wasn't his forte. It
Right.
wasn't his strong point. But he goes out there last year after us talking about it. After us talking about, this is his weakness, we eat those words with a glass of milk.
Yeah.
Because he threw the ball very, very well, cut those interceptions down by a ton, made a big difference, and coming in at his swan song as a senior, I just can't wait to see what Grant Hitchcock and the Jefferson Falcons are going to bring to the table this year. And then, we talk about these are 4 players to watch, and these are all seniors, 4-year Letterman type of guys. There's going to be another guy I want you guys all to keep an eye on out there. He's going to be, we'll call him the asterisk, the extra guy, the youngster. Cage Bozar.
Yeah.
Cage Bozar. Keep your eyes open. Look for him. He's fast. He's strong. The kid's a real football player. He is one of an entire group that Brandon Hanna is going to have ready to play football every single week. When you see those red helmets that they switched over to this year.
Did they?
Yes, they did. When you
Looking
see
like the Atlanta Falcons.
yeah,
huh?
they're going back into the
80s.
old school 90s Jefferson Falcons. When you see the Falcons come into town, it's going to be a different type of football. Looking forward to it this year.
I give a shout out. I don't know, Hannah. I don't know if he picked the yin and yang 7-on-7 gear for them kids. The black and white.
Oh, they're geared up. They're geared up out there. Listen, you know what I
as
found out?
Uncle Bill says, fresher than a popsicle.
Listen, you know what? I realized, I've been going to some of these 7-on-7s, getting a chance to talk. I never knew that these teams actually have a chance to get their helmets painted every year. So one of the cool things, and we'll be covering Conneaut not next week, but the week after, Coach Dobrin, Conneaut switched from gold to white this year.
Did they?
Because that's one of the things he puts on the seniors, allows them to make the choice.
That's
What are going to be our colors this year? So something very cool I learned this year. I'm thinking to myself, man, how'd you get that many helmets? Well, dummy, they paint them.
Right. Well, yeah, they probably send them out resurfaced and
Yeah.
then they get painted. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, honest to goodness, as a whole, really, I'm going to be, even if we're not covering the Jefferson Falcons, I'm going to be listening and paying attention to the Jefferson Falcons. I'm very excited to see what Hannah and the boys out there do and what they bring to the table this year to that tough NE8 conference. But I think there's going to be a lot of these teams where they had a struggle bus last year. I think a lot of these teams are going to be very surprised on what the Falcons bring to them.
And
even
listen,
if they lose, I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be easy loss. Don't set them up for homecoming night. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
It might be a bad night for y'all, and
Yeah.
I think this might be the swan song for them
Right.
in that conference as well, because I believe next year they get put into the CVC Lake Division, which, we'll call it that for now, but it's basically the NEC, and I can't wait.
Listen, the CVC can have all the pride they want in that name, the Cuyahoga Valley Conference. It is Northeastern Conference.
That's right,
NEC.
baby.
Call it what you want. It's NEC all day, and it will be for the rest of my life, and I don't care.
But as we're let's talk about 4 to watch on another team from Ashtabula County, the Edgewood Warriors.
If I coming up on here. All right, so last year the Warriors. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. 2-8 was a tough season.
It was a tough year for the Edgewood Warriors.
There's no other way to put that. A lot of tough losses. And I'm excited to see them. Coach Coop over there, which again, Facebook. Check out his 5-part series over on Facebook that we put out there. Thanks again to Larry Jennings. But they had a couple good wins, but a lot of really tough losses. A lot of goose eggs up there. But I'm very excited to see how Coop installs his offense and defense over there. Whether or not, I know Coach Terry Henton is now over there with the Warriors. So I guess I should say what Terry Henton's going to do over there with Edgewood
with
Warriors,
the offense.
What kind of offense they're
well,
going to
not only do
there.
they get Terry Henton, but they had Demetrius Baker over there as well to help with the linemen.
Right.
So they're getting a lot of help over there on that Edgewood team. And yes, so we all know we don't need to really go too far into it. Chaos is what you would call the year from last year. Yeah. There was utter chaos for that team to deal with, and they did the best they could with the tools that they had ready to go. This year, a new year. We've got a full year under our belt. Coaches implementing their own flavor onto their own team over at the Edgewood Warriors. They're going to start off the year, though. I'm going to tell you what, they're not getting any breaks.
No.
They are not going to get any breaks. It's going to be bang, bang, bang. First 3 weeks, you're going to get tested every single week, starting with Conneaut. Not only is that going to be a tough game because of the loss that they take last year, 41-6. It's going to be it's a tough game because that's a rivalry. That's the oldest rivalry, the oldest living rivalry in Ashtabula County's Week 1. We're going to be there covering that game. The Conneaut Spartans and Edgewood Warriors, that is going to be a tough game right from the gate, and it's because of a man in Conneaut by the name of Zach Rice.
Yes.
And that's what
the Quiet Riot.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about them when we're doing their preview, but Edgewood is going to have to focus in on that because defense was tough. Defense was very tough for the Edgewood Warriors last year.
Yeah, it was, and I'm excited about that too because I think Coop's. There was a lot of signs of life of defense when we covered that West G game. I mean, they held them on. I think it was 4 turnovers that they had in the first 2 quarters.
It's the craziest defense I've ever seen in my life.
It was. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better defensive stance.
Yes.
And then West G kind of figured it out, and unfortunately, it was a 50-13 rout. But in that first half, I think it was 6-13 going into halftime.
Well, I mean, you're talking about a defense that loses the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
You know what
Troy
I mean?
Peterson,
And Troy Peterson. Troy Peterson was a phenom last year. He's a big man. He's a big man on both sides of the ball. And what's funny is last year when we put our preseason our preseason all-county team, which will be coming out next week.
Is it?
That when we put that out, we didn't even have him on the defense. He goes out and does a great job of making us look wrong, and I've never been more excited to look wrong. But what happened was as when teams go through changes like they do, sometimes there's growing pains, and those growing pains really started to hit home at Edgewood last year at about midway through the season. Yeah. They go out, they get a couple early wins, and because of that. The offense kind of stalls out a little bit. But, again, new team, new year, working with a new system and basically like a new culture, I guess is what you call it.
Yep.
Out there at Edgewood. And there's some cool things that are going to be going on. Now, we talk about key games. Let's talk about some key games over for the Edgewood Warriors. Edgewood Warriors go 2-8 last year. With 16 teams getting in, I think 6 is the magic number. I think 6 is the magic number to get in.
I don't know. I mean,
I guess 5 technically
for
could
me,
be.
it's 5. I mean, you might be right. Obviously, it's still a point system. It's not a win-loss for the most part, but it is a point system, and I think the magic number is 5 to get in. But I guess it really would depend on what your 5 wins are. That's where it's going to matter.
Yes.
More than anything. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So you're talking about Week 1. Key game number 1 is going to be. The Conneaut Spartans, August 18th, they're going to be playing. It's a crosstown rival. If you want to make the playoffs, you have to start off the year saying we're ready to go to the playoffs. And it's a tall order because Conneaut, it doesn't matter what their record ends up being for the year. Conneaut brings it every single year. I would never count Conneaut against out against anybody.
Anybody. I mean, they had, and we'll get into Conneaut in the future here. We got 3 more weeks after this to make sure we cover everyone. But Conneaut always finds a way to come out and either win or give you a dogfight, one of the two. There's nothing, no free handouts out of Conneaut. So Edgewood's going to have their hands full. But I do believe, honestly, I think it's a winnable game for either team.
Yes,
so
that's a toss-up.
I'm not trying to. We're not biased to anybody, just so everybody knows that. But I think it's a winnable game for either team. But it's really going to depend. And honestly, I think it's going to depend on Edgewood's quarterback play, the number one thing, and also their defense.
Their defense is really going to have to step up. If you're an Edgewood Warrior this year, you have to take defense personally because the offense is going to be there. And we're going to talk about that when we go in the 4-4-0-4 to watch.
Yep.
The defense is really where you guys are going to have to shine because you guys are going to have all the tools.
What's the old motto?
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, I mean you can put 54 points up, but if the opponent gets 55, it don't matter.
That's the way she goes.
It's either your first or your last, Ricky Bobby.
And then right there on September 30th, they have to go to the Spire and play the Geneva Eagles. The Geneva Eagles, another team who's also going through a change. They've got Coach Don Shimsky coming over to take over the reins. So there's going to be, they're still going to be running the wing tee. They're still going to be Geneva, but there's always going to be a little bit of a difference when you have a different guy calling the plays.
Yeah.
So, again, this is a part of the season where, and when we talk about key games, we're talking about if you win these games, this is how you're going to have a winning season. So you're going to have to win against Conneaut, and you're going to have to win against Geneva. This is going to determine, and me and you have talked about it before.
In detail, yeah.
When we talk about, so that's the Geneva game. I'm going to jump right over to the Battle of the Bridge on October 21st.
Listen, we've talked about it. There's potential here for a of a Week 10 matchup.
This could be the biggest game,
and not just because they're crosstown rivalries. No. We went through schedule game. We have our assumptions, but. This could be one of the biggest games. This is going to be a watch and see what happens game that everyone's going to be on their toes, seeing where it goes for this Week 10 matchup.
This Week 10 matchup, and we're going to be covering Lakeside next week, so it'll be a little bit more clear that when we cover them. But this Week 10 matchup could be the biggest game in probably the last 10 years. I think that this game, when they play the Lakeside Dragons at Lakeside Stadium on October 21st, I think the winner of that game could be playing for their position in the playoffs. Yeah. I think whoever wins that game could be playing not only for their spot in the playoffs, but it's going to decide who's going to have a winning and who's going to have a losing season that year. I mean, this could be a huge game for the Edgewood Warriors when they go against the Lakeside Dragons.
You're talking about Walmart shutting down that night. Literally, if you're not a football fan, that night might be the best time in the world to go to Walmart and be able to peruse and do nothing because no one's going to be there. They're all going to be at Lakeside Stadium for this game.
If both of these teams,
the way we've talked about,
hit their big-time potential, I think you could be seeing both of these teams playing with an equal record, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So going into, I'm going to let you do that first one.
Yeah, so we're going into the 4-4-0-4 to watch for the Edgewood Warriors. So we went from a team with 4 seniors to a team where we're going to have 4 juniors to keep your eyes on this year. 3 juniors and 1 senior to keep your eyes on. And we got to start with the big man up front. That's Nick Barger. Nick Barger goes out right at our combine that he wins the new explosive drill that we have in the medicine ball, and that is really a great measuring test of explosiveness for a lineman. Barger goes out there, gets the job done. He is going to be the anchor. He is going to be the offensive lineman that they are going to rely on to give the rest of these skill guys a shot at being open, at throwing the ball, running the ball, and basically holding down the offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I've talked about it with the last, with Jefferson, but losing Troy Peterson at your offensive line, I do believe it was at left tackle. Probably wrong on that, but I'm almost positive it was tackle. But you need another anchor. You need someone coming up. Him being a junior, he can really pave a way for the upcoming guys on what the expectations are for that Edgewood Warriors team. Being an anchor and really making some gaps for the next guy we're going to talk about is really going to be very important for the success of the Edgewood Warriors.
He is a big kid, he is a strong kid, and he is a smart kid. Those are the 3 qualities you want in your lineman. Nick Barger is going to be a difference maker this year for the Edgewood Warriors. They are going to rely heavily on him and his play to determine what the pace of the game is going to be.
All right, coming up at number 2, I'm going to steal your thunder and have a little fun with it because you always steal it from me. But Zeke the Freak Lucas.
That's
I know
right, baby.
Yeah, I know you call him Freaky Zeke, but I think last year with the Warriors they had the down season, no other way to put it, and I think he wasn't able to show all of what he's capable of. But I think this year coming up is going to change that tone that I have about it. I'm excited to watch him at the linebacker spot. I'm very intrigued at the running back spot to see what he could do. But more than anything, that defense, like we talked about, the Warriors, getting their defense rocking and rolling is really going to be the success story for them over there. But you said he's playing Mike over there?
Yeah, I believe he's going to be the Mike this year.
Mike linebacker, yeah. So he's going to be the anchor point over there at linebacker. He's going to be running everything and making sure everyone's where they need to be. So I'm excited to watch him across the board.
Zeke Lucas is one of the most impressive-looking football players you're ever going to see in your life. The dude is built like a brick outhouse.
Poop house.
All right. There ain't too much neck for him. I'll put it out there.
Yeah. He won the lifting.
Yeah. He was this year's bench press champion.
Yeah.
At our combine, but Zeke Lucas is going to be in the backfield, and he's going to be a linebacker for the Edgewood Warriors. And in the backfield, I think he's a lot faster than people realize, and I think he's working on his lateral and his foot movement. This is what I'm hearing from the coaches.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So these are the things that are going to help separate him because he's got all the tools. Everything. If you were playing Madden and you were doing a creative player, he probably looks like Zeke Lucas. All right, and that's just the truth of the matter.
And fit.
Yeah, we're talking about that's the offensive side of the ball, but I'm going to talk about on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to be the go-to on defense. He's going to be the big-time linebacker, the Mike. I believe, though, that if him and his partner, Seth Enos, if they take defense seriously, if those two take defense personally, those two linebackers can make it so the Edgewood Warriors give up the least amount of rushing yards in the county. But those two guys are going to have to take it serious and take it personal because both of those guys are tackle hounds and both of them have the ability to do it.
Yeah, I mean, flying around the field, they're fast enough to do it. I mean, they're explosive. It's going to be fun to watch them, especially if they take that next step. Being juniors, they can really fall into a leadership role with this team, especially having another year to go after this, but we won't go too far into that.
They are going to be tested early and often because if you looked at the Edgewood Warriors last year, the way you beat them is you run the ball right down their throat.
Yeah, we could call them the Warrior Patrol.
Yeah, listen.
The Dome Patrol for the Saints? The Warrior Patrol.
If I'm telling you, if Zeke Lucas and Seth Enos, if they take defense personally this year, if they take ownership of that middle, then you better get comfortable running sweeps because that's going to shut it down. But it's all dependent upon how much they're going to put into it this year.
Yep. Right. You want me to go next one?
Yeah, you can.
No, I'm sorry. So the next one is going to be Jacob Ernst. He's going to be wide receiver D-back, junior for the Warriors. He did not play last year. He did.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes, he's a returning Letterman.
So returning Letterman. Exciting. Fun to watch him. Another guy that can catch the ball and go, get up the sidelines. Again, it's going to be going back to defense. So his defensive play is going to help him and that Warriors team more than anything.
Yeah, so, you talked about the defense. When I'm talking about Jacob Ernst, I'm just going to talk about the offense. Go Gadget arms. The dude is going to be really almost uncoverable in the post corner route in the end zone. He's a basketball player that can jump through the roof. He's got, a great wingspan. This is a kid that quietly made a difference on offense for the Warriors last year. They had a couple quarterbacks throwing the ball. This year, I'm going to be interested to see how that goes with Tony Hall making a return this year. Getting a full year under under center if that's how they decide to go. But Jacob Ernst is somebody I think that got overlooked last year because they were just so stacked at wide receiver. Yeah. Jacob Ernst is an athlete, folks. This kid's an athlete. Whether it's on the basketball court or the football field, you better start paying attention to this young man because before you know it, you're going to be on a poster when he's making they do this every time they catch it on you. Yeah. I'm on your head, boy. Look for Jacob Ernst to do that to some people. He's a dangerous man out there.
All right.
All right, we got one more. We got one more.
And last but not least is going to be, and again, numbers mean nothing. Sammy could have put points or dashes, but he did numbers, making it weird for everybody. But it is what it is. It's going to be Christian Cunningham, senior wide receiver, defensive back. He's another one, too. I mean, he really get up the field watching him last year. Exciting player to watch. We'll see where it takes, though. I mean, I can't help myself. Well, I'll go into that in a minute. I don't want to go too deep into that. I can't help myself. I'm going to bring it up before the end of the night, but I'll let you take over because I have to bring this other topic up.
Christian Cunningham. He was part of the Dos Christians last year for the Edgewood Warriors. Really did his best and did a great job of separating himself from the pack. Again, we talked about that stacked wide receiving core that they had last year. Even with all of that talent, Christian Cunningham really stood out. He's probably going to be one of the fastest guys in the county. A lot of people say he is the fastest guy in the county when it comes to the football field. Now, I'll tell you what, I've seen a lot of people running. I've seen a lot of people doing their job. And it's a lot closer than everybody wants to admit. But Christian Cunningham can absolutely get up and go on people this year. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He tracks the ball well on defense. This guy is a utility guy for the Warriors. He's a guy where, wherever you're having trouble, you might be able to put him in. If you need a quick score, you could be looking at this guy run some jet. He might run some quarterback. He's going to be catching the ball, throwing the ball, whatever you need. Christian Cunningham is going to be probably the top offensive player, I think, for the Edgewood Warriors this year. He is going to, I said earlier this year that I still think right now that it's a two-man race for player of the year, but I think Christian Cunningham is absolutely going to do his best to make sure that he gets into that conversation. Right. And I don't think it's going to be very hard because God blessed him with a ton of athletic ability, and if he unloads it and they can keep him on the field this year, Christian Cunningham is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
And the one thing I'm going to bring it up very casually, but there is a bit of a QB competition going on over there.
Yeah. So we don't know who's starting.
We don't know who exactly is going to start it. I'm very excited about that. Tony Hall's a freshman last year, right?
Nope,
sophomore. Sorry,
so he's a junior coming back.
Junior coming back, and then a transfer in Jeff Watson. He's coming over there too. So I'm going to be interested, but both of the one thing why I bring it up, both of those kids are very athletic. So regardless of who gets the position, there's going to be another role for them to fill, no matter which way you put it. So I'm very excited to see how that one goes and where it goes. And there's another in-town school that has another one, a little bit of a quarterback competition going on, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, not only that, but Edgewood is going to be changing the way that their team looks as a whole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they go from, with their last head coach is running just an absolute ton of passing. I mean, spread it out. We're going to send everybody down, pass the ball 86% of the time, go aggressive. Really, really taking advantage of defenses not being in position and not being ready to see that type of pass outlook. Right. Whereas it appears, and this could be something that changes during the season, but it looks like where Edgewood is going to go into a much more pass run balanced team,
balanced attack,
take what you give me type of team, and that when you're changing that, the way the athletes that you have are going to shine in different ways.
Yeah. And like I said, they're both athletic. They both serve a purpose, no matter what, no matter who's under the helm. They both will serve a purpose. But it's just going to be interesting to see where that takes them to. And obviously, Coach Coop over there and the rest of the guys are going to make the best decision possible for the Edgewood Warriors.
Really going to be an interesting year for the Edgewood Warriors this year. I'm very excited to see what this defense is going to look like. I think if I have one concern, that's what it is, primary concern. You got to get that defense. But you know what? That's not just for the Edgewood Warriors. I think if you asked me what is my concern for every team in the county right now, it's going to be defense, except for every team except probably Lakeside. Their defense was astounding last year.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I could agree. Definitely, but defense wins championships. Defense wins championships. So, but yeah, circle those games. Key games coming up. Don't forget if you're over on Facebook, like the stream, share share when you can.
I can tell you right now, we're going to be at 2 of them. Week 1, we will be on Thursday night opening our season up with Conneaut Edgewood. And the Battle of the Bridge, we ain't missing that no matter what happens.
Yeah.
So
definitely a staple that we're going to be at. All right. hit a few buttons.
Yeah, I'm really. I'll tell you what. If you couldn't tell when we're talking about this football, it's probably my favorite to go on.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a lot of fun. We don't, I'm excited about this year. There's so many schools that have so much potential that you just don't know what's going to happen on a week-to-week basis. But the hope is that they reach that potential and drive through it. And I want to see more schools than 2 get a playoff.
Yeah, I mean, there's no.
I don't want to go too much detail, because we're going to cover them another week.
Yes, we are.
PV's done a great job over the last 3 years, making their way and making noise in their division. Lakeside had their run last year that abruptly ended there week 1, unfortunately, but they still did their thing and got there.
Listen, PV. We're going to cover them a little bit further down, but that is the perfect example of what happens when you install a culture.
Yeah,
it is expected. This is what you're doing. We are expected to win, and once that gets in there, man, it's hard to break.
I feel like PV's head coach just says, "Win, baby."
That's it. Just win, baby. Hey, get out there and get it done. Just get out there and get it done.
Just win.
But yeah, so next week we will be covering 2 more teams. So the 2 teams we're going to cover next week are going to be the Lakeside Dragons and the St. John Heralds. Just like we did this week, we're going to be going through their schedule. We're going to be talking a little bit about what they did last year. We're going to be talking about some players, and we're going to give you our 440 4 to watch on each one of those teams.
Yeah, so stay tuned with us for that. That should be hopefully next Wednesday. We're going to try to keep it from being at 9 o'clock at night, but there's no guarantee.
Yeah,
with that.
it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. Don't forget again, this weekend coming up down here on beautiful, historic downtown Bridge Street. It's going to be the Wine and Walleye Festival. And like Tyler said, I think, what days did you say they're closing the street? 5 a.m. on Friday?
Going to be Friday 5 a.m. to Sunday night 8 p.m.
Okay.
Don't forget, fireworks are going to be after the boat parade Saturday night. And we got a little bit of a surprise for you folks coming down.
Over to you right now, Ty.
Yep.
A double.
I know these folks missed my voice. It's okay. But, so don't forget. So it'll be Friday morning, 5 a.m. Bridge Street is closed to through traffic. There will be detours for you to take to get around. And then that's going to go until Sunday night, 8 p.m. They're having the boat parade Saturday night, which immediately afterwards will be the fireworks show. And then ourselves personally down here all 3 days, we're going to have a little surprise for you folks. There is a purchase point, a price point, an amount of money that you got to spend. Get entered into a drawing each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We pick one winner. You get a chance to spin in our money machine to win up to $100. So
Heck yeah.
It's going to be nice. And thank you guys for sparing another minute of your time, boys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Wine and Walleye Festival, another staple in Ashtabula County, been going on for quite a few years. It's very fun to come down. Come join. There's all kinds of local vendors that come out here, set up, sell their product, including all the shops that are down here too. It's a beautiful area.
And you never know. Listen, we may be coming down here and doing some coverage. We're not gonna tie ourselves into anything for sure, but you never know. Make sure you're staying tuned to 440 and Goal because we're good about spot coverage.
Yes. All right, guys. I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah. This weekend on Sunday we'll be down. At least one of us will be down there at the softball fields trying to get some more footage. And
is that a jab?
No, I'm saying one of us will be there.
Is that a jab?
It's 2 of us. But one of us will at least be down there trying to get some footage and covering some more softball. Stay tuned for that. And a little teaser here: we do have that volleyball preview coming up.
Yeah.
So make sure you don't make plans for August 14th. That's a Sunday.
All right, again, next week we're going to be previewing Lakeside and St. John, so tune in next Wednesday night. Don't know what time yet. We'll figure that one out.
Dragons and Heralds, baby. I'm
Dragons
excited
and
about
Heralds.
this one.
Over on YouTube, subscribe. We're almost to 1,000 viewers.
We need
Help
1,000
us out.
YouTube subscribers,
Help
folks.
us
We need your
out.
help.
Come on.
We're
almost
really
there.
close. I know all
We got
you
like
kids. We have
4
like 3,000 on Instagram. Where's all my Instagram kids
right.
at?
I mean, we got like 4,000. I think it's Facebook changed. I don't
Listen,
know what-
Facebookers.
Right, Facebookers over there, and just go over, click the button, subscribe, help us out. That's all. It just takes a second. Appreciate that though.
It's like building a house.
Right, building. Oh, you know, we might have to do one night. Just get you in the whole giddy
Yeah.
up. Get you in a windsuit. and
Listen,
everything.
you never know what we're doing over here at 440
Yeah.
Goal. I'm just saying.
Oh, all right, guys. Thanks again so much for tuning in. I'm Ryan, my partner Sam here, the voice of 440 and Goal. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will catch you
Next Wednesday.